Men don't stop talking because they want to. They usually stop talking because at some point they feel like nobody's listening. Let me explain. I was married for 18 years, and looking back now, I can see something that happened that I didn't understand at the time. Communication breakdown doesn't happen overnight. It usually happens slowly, through a lot of moments that started to add up over time. And it usually started with something small, like taking out the trash. My wife would ask me to take the trash out, and I'd tell her I'd do it. And in my mind, I fully intended to. But maybe I'd just gotten home from work and I just wanted to sit down and relax for a few minutes before I get to it. Then an hour would go by and the trash still wasn't out, and she got upset. Now, in her mind, it meant that I was being lazy, but in my mind, I was thinking, I need time to relax. I just didn't want to do it on her timeline. And what started out as a small misunderstanding slowly turned into something bigger. She started to see me as lazy, and I started to see her as bossy. Now, here's the part that people don't realize about these situations. Those little moments don't stay little. They start stacking up. And over time, they start to change how people talk and see each other. See, once labels start forming, like you're lazy or demanding or bossy, every new conversation starts getting filtered through those labels. So the next disagreement isn't about the trash anymore. It becomes more about defending the person that you are. And guess what else starts happening? You stop trying to explain yourself. Because it feels like the other person has already decided who you are before the conversation started. So eventually you start thinking, what's the point of even arguing about this? And that's when a lot of men start shutting down. Looking back now, I can see something that I didn't understand when I was younger. Defending myself harder didn't help. In fact, the more I tried to argue my position, the more it looked like I was trying to escape whatever label had already been placed on me. So over time, it became easier to just give in, not because I agreed, but because I didn't want to argue anymore. And that's how a lot of men slowly stopped talking. But after years of counseling and a lot of reflection, I realized something important that I wish I understood earlier. I don't have to win every argument. I just have to clearly say my piece. Explain what I meant, explain what affected me, and then let the conversation happen. Because if that conversation turns into yelling or escalation or fighting about who's right, it's okay to disengage. Just walk away and calm down. Later come back and talk when you can actually have a conversation, because standing toe to toe and yelling at each other rarely fixes anything. Most of the time it just creates another argument that gets added to the scoreboard. And here's another bigger thing that took me years to understand about the topic of argument, and it isn't the real issue. Couples argue about money, they argue about the chores and kids and intimacy, but those topics aren't new. Our parents argued about those same things, and their parents probably argued about them too. Those disagreements have been part of relationships for generations. Those topics change slightly with time, but the underlying struggle stays the same. Two people trying to understand and respect each other, two people trying to feel like their efforts matter. So the real difference between strong relationships and struggling ones isn't avoiding arguments, it's learning how to handle them. Because when arguments turn into scorekeeping and scorekeeping turns into resentment, that's when people slowly stop talking. And once communication disappears, the distance between two people grows a little more every day. Here's what else I realized. That trash conversation was never really about the trash. It was about expectations and communication. Just two people trying to figure out how to live together. Arguments are part of everyday relationship, but learning how to communicate through them without turning every disagreement into a battle, that's the real skill. And in the end, when I look back now, the trash argument could have been avoided if I told her my clear expectations, like, I just got home. I need a little bit of time to relax and decompress. I'll take out the trash in about an hour. That way, she didn't expect it right away, and we would both be on the same page. More importantly, the phrasing would trigger her to understand that what she asked is important, and I have intentions to take it out, but I just need a little bit more time. Because relationships usually don't fall apart from one big fight. They usually erode from thousands of small ones that never get resolved. On this channel, we talk about real patterns behind work, relationship, and personal growth. Not shortcuts, not hacks. Just life lessons that eventually get taught to all of us. If that kind of conversation resonates with you, consider hitting the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.